There we go. Can't wait for Nashville. Speaking of the South, the Cowboys won their 7th straight game against the New York Giants on Thursday, defeating their division rival on the road 20-15. Dak Prescott completing 22 of 27 passes for 221 yards, 2 TDs, including a 55-yard scoring connection with CeeDee Lamb in the first half. They got him involved. And the defense didn't allow a touchdown. Now here's the nightcap crew, Shay and Ocho Cinco. Hey.
The Cowboys didn't look that good tonight. I think they played decent. And if it was any other team outside of the Giants, five of the field goals, at least 2 of those, or maybe 3 of those might have been touchdowns, and the game would have been different.
I agree.
The game would have been different, and another team would have won.
Was he in space?
I don't know. He was definitely in the dark. But we got to see Chad up close and personal.
It is nightcap.
And it was dark out.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, it ain't like it's the morning time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, stuff happens.
The lights were out.
Stuff
happens. We get it.
Stuff happens, Swagu. Stuff
S.A.,
happens.
do you want to react to what Chad had to say, or you're good? You want to get right into the debate?
No, I just think that he's right. I just think that he's right with what he's saying, that the Cowboys didn't look that good. Let's not make more of it and more out of it than what it actually was. The Giants are not a good team. They've been a relatively sorry team. You got to remember, with the exception, I mean, and this sounds a bit ridiculous because it did involve 2 Super Bowl rings. Please don't get me wrong, in 2007 and 2011. But take away those 2 years, and the Giants religiously missed the playoffs. It ain't like they're a team that's always in the playoffs and then they won Super Bowls. For the vast majority of the last 17 years, with the exception of those 2 years, which were very, very big deals, because they ended up with Super Bowl championships against Tom Brady and the Patriots in both instances, by the way, the fact remains that the Giants are usually missing the playoffs. They're usually on the outside looking in, okay? And so we have to look at it from that standpoint and recognize from an organizational standpoint, a lot of the decisions that they've made have been horrid. Okay, you get rid of personnel. I remember when they got rid of Odell Beckham Jr. Why would you do that? I mean, yeah, he's a bit eccentric, a little bit different, you know, getting his head, colliding with the damn goalpost because he's kicking the football into it or whatever during his frustration.
I think he proposed to it.
The man wasn't breaking any laws. He wasn't failing to show up to practice. He wasn't failing to show up to work. Some of the decisions that they've made, even with letting go of Tom Coughlin and stuff like that, you just looking at the abundance of decisions that they made, it's been so highly questionable. We now need to bring the Giants into focus as an organization. They're no longer a gold standard. Hell, they ain't even a bronze standard. They have not stepped up. They have not handled their business, and we don't talk enough about the Giants and how inept they've become. I feel sorry for Brian Dable because he showed us what he could do if you give him a little bit of talent. The fact is, other than Neighbors, he doesn't really have much to work with on the offensive side of the ball. That is a reality.
Absolutely fair, Stephen A. With that being said, what do you think Dallas can do? We'll flip to the other side to convince us that they're actually contenders, Swagu.
Win a game that is either a close comparison or overcome something instead of kind of middling. I said it. It's like running in the mud. This Pittsburgh game will be a great test because everybody's going to focus on, well, we don't know what Pittsburgh offense is. T.J. Watt and Alehi Smith and Cam Hayward on that side with Minka Fitzpatrick. And it's a game, and we hear people say it all the time, which blows my mind that people would relegate themselves to this. But Dallas needs to get a lead, and then that's how they play well. Well, that ain't the reality of playing football for a large majority of the time. The 12-5 records, you know what them 5 games have been? 5 games that they couldn't take control of the game and let the pass rushers loose on the quarterback, which continuously cost them. So we'll see, because it's Pittsburgh, it's the Detroit Lions, it's the San Francisco 49ers. They about to go through a gauntlet of teams that are better than them right now when it stands from a schedule-wise, a record-wise, and roster-wise as well. And I think it's poignant what Stephen A. just talked about. There's relativity there when you bring up the New York Giants and how bad they've been in such a long time. The New York Giants are representative of a team, especially here in the recent history, of a team that has not put a functional football roster together to have success. And the fact that them and Dallas are this close right now is the biggest indictment on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know games are played in different situations, and I know it could have been different or it could be different as we go forward. But we living in the present, which is a gift right now. And what we were able to see just in the recent past, less than 24 hours ago, is that you saw two teams that is not much different than it should be here in this juncture of what they've been doing over the years as far as putting teams together. They're closer than people think, and that's unfortunate.
Is on me?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I said in the last hour, I used an analogy, right? That like, how can the Cowboys
It's all
be
you,
impressive? How can the Cowboys be impressive when basically we just watch them bench like 100 pounds?
Yeah.
To me, this is a two-part question. What can they do to convince me they're contenders? Well, first of all, just to convince me they can contend in the division, I would say they need to punch at their own weight class, which would be the Steelers. So Swagu's right in that this can be a game where they could do exactly that. They are so incredibly one-dimensional. I need to see this team do something with their running game, which has been absolutely abhorrent, something that we thought would probably be the case. And then to tell me that they are real contenders, I need them to do something like punch above their weight class, like the aforementioned preeminent teams in the NFC the last few years, that being a win over either the Lions or the Niners. The Niners are super banged up. This is the most gettable they'll be for the Cowboys in some time. And then they've got the Falcons and then the Eagles. I need them to win a couple of these games, and I need them to do it emphatically to show me that they are a team that can actually contend and do more than just make the playoffs and maybe win in the first round.
First of all, the Steelers are above Dallas's weight class. Let's get that out the way.
Dang.
Dallas ain't got no defense like that. That defense in Pittsburgh, led by the great T.J. Watt, please.
Unfortunately.
The Steelers are, and considering, I understand we still got questions at the quarterback spot about Justin Fields compared to Russell Wilson, but we ain't questioning their running game. We ain't questioning who their receiver is. We ain't questioning who their tight end is. So I would say, and we damn sure ain't questioning who their coach is. And certainly from an organizational standpoint, the Steelers have been a model of consistency. So I would say they're a level above the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get that out the way first. Having said all of that, getting back to the question about what can the Cowboys do to show that they're contenders, just continue to stop the run. Just continue to put yourself in a position where we're not able to say people can play bully ball against you. They can run over you. They can beat you up. They can push you around. You understand? You lose a game because a play here or there happens. That's different. You lose a game because you lose 35 to 33 or whatever because you're going up against a big-time quarterback and he's throwing the football all over the place, and your secondary without Stephon Gilmore any longer has a problem stopping you. That would be different. But they can't run down this. You can't have Dan Orlovsky, of all people, Mr. Elvis himself, coming on the airways talking about you ain't got no spine. You can run right down the middle on them. And last but not least, this nugget of facts, Swagu, before I pass it to you. I'm looking at the stats here. The New York Giants won the Super Bowl in 2007 and obviously 2011. That is this is 17 years since that Super Bowl in 2017. Do you know they've made the playoffs 4 times? They've missed the playoffs 12 times. 12 times. The New York Giants.
12 times,
They are not a gold standard. They are not a silver standard. They damn near ain't a bronze standard. We got to put that in there because you got the 2 Super Bowls. I'm talking about Mara, Tish, and these dudes. They have not done a good job of building an organization. They have been bad, and it's time that we notice that. You in New York City, and you stinking up the joint far more often than not.
I think what you're saying, Stephen A., is they're nickel-plated.
Okay.
Yeah, they look like gold. Here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing, and you just brought it up, Stephen A. Dan Orlovsky didn't create some epiphany for us. We watched the Dallas Cowboys last year not have a spine and get ran through. Like, we celebrated a lot of what Jordan Love would. Bro, do you not remember what the Arizona Cardinals did to them? To the tune of 200-plus yards last year.
Game.
That's when the red lights went on.
Yeah.
But
that's one
the
game.
Green
I'm
Bay
just talking about
Packers,
several games
Stephen A., every game they lost, people ran through them last year. It was a continuation. Let's not talk about San Francisco. We got excited about what Jordan Love did in the passing game. I would beg somebody to go back and check the stats for Green Bay and the running game against the Dallas Cowboys in that playoff game as well. This is not new. What's devastating, and I don't think people are paying attention to it, what has been dominant about this offense? Because at least we could have hung our hat on that. We could have hung our hat last year on they are going to make explosive plays in the run game. CeeDee Lamb is phenomenal. He's going to find ways to get his. But tell me this year, based on what you saw in the 2 games that they lost to the Baltimore Ravens and y'all remind me, to who they lost to before the Ravens. The Saints to a 44-19 score. And then we get here with the New York Giants and they score 20. What's been explosive about this offense? Like, Dak has been solid. He's been efficient. But what we said last year was when Dallas builds a lead, they can play the way they want to play on defense. They ain't doing that on offense. It is nothing about the semblance of this team right now in the past 3 games that should indicate to you that a part of this team is dominant at all, outside of individuals being able to play at a high level at times during the season. That is the cause for concern for me. I don't care about, well, they played the run better. They only scored 20 points against the Giants.
Yep.
I don't care about, well, they were efficient. They only scored 19 against the Saints. The Baltimore Ravens ran through them, and had it not been for a recovered onside kick, that would have been a lopsided win. Let's stop playing.
We have no
now.
running game.
Like, if they
We have
want
no running game.
This right here was me asking you how many touchdowns that the Cowboys had in the second half last night.
Yeah, bro. Like, let's not do that. So I'm not saying that to y'all, but people are going to walk away saying, "Well, we won against the Giants, and there's some things to build upon."
Well, you know what that means.
This is not the stand.
You know.
Go ahead,
Last
Stephen.
word here.
You know what it means, right? You know what it means, right? What it means is you paid Dak his 60. I told y'all the brother got 100 before he got his new contract. He got 157.4 million, and the numbers were the same as when he was broke, making less than $5 million his first 4 years in the league. The last 4 years in the league, the numbers weren't much different. I pointed that out, right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem. You gave CeeDee Lamb his bag, but you wasn't finding him. And remember, when their offense was prolific, even though it was number 1 last year in terms of yards accumulated or points accumulated, in the end, Mike McCarthy ended up getting rid of Kellen Moore because he wanted to run the offense, swearing he was going to do something different, and did the same things Kellen Moore was doing. And oh, by the way, even with injuries, Philadelphia's offense has looked at times better than the Dallas Cowboys offense.